I think when the recession really kicked in, I think a lot of businesses of all sizes shed staff. So I think the easiest way to manage costs was to do that. And I think now we're certainly seeing that those companies are recruiting again and also really investing in their talent. So I think actually that investment in their business is going to yield dividends because they're going to keep the talent and they're going to grow the business for them. One of the biggest barriers that have been cited just for overseas growth, particularly in Europe, has been the red tape. I know the government has definitely, in the UK, has been looking at reducing the burden of red tape, and that's an ongoing process. But there's been some impact there. I think the same in the EU as well. I think negotiating those EU directives and that red tape is how businesses are going to get over that particular barrier, and that is a barrier for some businesses. But I think again, confidence and ambition help businesses to overcome barriers, whereas that lack of confidence will stop them from even trying. The way we assess the organisations that come through, whether they're a really small business or a really big business, isn't necessarily just the financial performance over the last year or the year before. It's what they're investing in to make sure that financial performance is sustained over the next few years as well. So the judges are looking for confidence in those businesses, in the long term, not just the short term as well. And actually, what we're seeing is again that investment in staff, that investment in innovation, that investment in R&D, but also on the sustainability side, actually that cost management. Looking at risks, managing those risks. And the businesses that are ticking all of those boxes are really looking like they're going to be good long-term bets. And I think, and that's the difference, I think certainly through the programme, we're seeing more of those kind of businesses. We always see a lot of the virtual businesses and a lot of the digital businesses, but we're seeing a lot of enablers of e-commerce as well, lots of fulfillment people and those kind of things. I think manufacturing is back with a vengeance. Engineering, is looking really positive as well. I think that one of the big trends we saw from 2012 was that the focus on delivery around the Olympics, where people really just wanted to see it happen to the highest standard. It went beyond expectations. Because the world is looking at Britain and what it can achieve. I think the next stage now is we'll really show you what we can do. We can actually be very inventive. We are very innovative, and there's the confidence now to push those ideas. So I think the type of business that's going to grow is that ambitious, innovative, investing in itself, but also looking at the bigger picture. I think a lot of UK businesses are certainly looking at export as being part of their growth strategies. And again, asking our winners last year about where they want to be overseas, where they want to be beyond where they want to be in or out of the EU, but why Europe or why other countries? They're following their customers. They're following their partners. A lot of the SMEs are suppliers for larger companies that are obviously in lots of geographies around the world. So they're following them. They're following a more global client base as well. And I think whether they've got operations overseas or whether they're managing operations from the UK, there's also the value they've talked about the diversity of experience, that actually UK people working with people in Europe, learning about the cultural differences, about the customer differences, is actually very valuable work experience and actually makes a more globally minded UK employee. So I think those aspects of growth actually have really come through the programme this year, and certainly the research. There's loads of ways of raising profile. Obviously, we see the people that want to raise their profile through a national awards program like the National Business Awards. I think the people that are coming through obviously want to raise their head above the parapet and get recognition for the excellence they've achieved, whether it's to find investment, whether it's to attract that talent, whether it's to reassure overseas partners. And that's actually something we've seen a lot more of, actually, that particularly last year with companies like SafetyFlex, Barriers, who created the bollards for the Olympics. It's trying to win business in places like the Middle East, and in places like that when they're looking for third-party endorsement or reassurance, a National Business Award is a fantastic badge of honour for them. So yeah, awards are a really good one because it's not just PR, it's actually third-party endorsement of how you run your business, and you run it in an exceptional way. I think the key messages that came out of the Business Without Barriers report is that businesses are more confident about growth, that they certainly recognise that export or international is going to be a key factor in that growth as well, that they understand the value of talent and that they're investing in talent to help grow their businesses, and that there are many obstacles to growth in a business, but actually the ambitious, confident ones, the ones that see that bigger picture, will always hurdle those obstacles and grow their business.